Hey everybody, welcome to a Sunday stream of Filemaker. So today what we're going to do is we're going to cover a few quick things. It'll probably be a pretty short stream today, but we're going to cover a few quick things that I wanted to do with our solution, the solution that we're building through this series. If you've missed a video, they are all the same as this one, except for their series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the ones just before that are the multi-user solution. And I do hope that you guys will check those out as well, because they are very much involved with what we're doing. So what I did do was I made a few changes, and I didn't mean to, so I apologize, but but I did anyway, right? Dang it, Tim, what are you thinking? What I did do was I changed up the employee user data file. So when you are in the section that, you know, when you're in your basic, you're in the very beginning section, and you type in your number 1, 2, 3, 4, that, you know, how it takes you someplace and it does all these different things, and then for different numbers it takes you to different places. Now, one thing that I did do was I created, instead of saying Timothy, I created it, or instead of saying welcome, I got this to put my name in there. And so if we were to go to the passcode section, and as you can tell, right now I am on the Timothy Haid admin window security link. And so what it will do is it's going to grab my name because I typed in 1, 2, 3, 4. And we did talk about hiding, changing some of these codes so that they weren't readily visible for other people. And what we did was we said, hey, if you exit the layout or you edit the layout and you change it by just clicking on this and going into your inspector, and you do the hide object when, like, you know, hide object when pass is empty, or is empty the pass box, what happens is it will do all of them except for the one file that has the number 15 on it. And that one file happens to be the very top file. So in this case, this one has the 15 on it, as you can see, because you can see the little yellow 15 up here. If I go to this file, it doesn't have the 15. If I go to this file, these are all separate records is what they are. They're all separate records. And so every single one of them is going to be different. So the exit on this is when you go to the admin, what it does is, let's go into this edit layout really fast. And if we double click on this, it'll bring us up to the data exit file. And so what it says is I told it to go to the first record, and then if it's empty, go to the layout, security, blah, 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 go to layout, admin window, and then halt the script. But because what it did was it performed a search when you push the button. So let's exit. Let's go to admin. Right now, see, it's going to take me to this window, and that's one of the flaws in the system, is because what's happening is the file that you were on, that record that you were on, and I told it to go to the first record. Well, in the first record, there's no 15. So it's going to regularly take me to this. Forgot you can't press enter. You just have to press the register. So it's regularly going to take me to that file. So if I go to the administrator and I type in my 1, 2, 3, 4, it will automatically take me to here. And then if we go into passcode, we'll find that we're on this file. But none of the rest of the files have the number 15 located on them. And as you can tell, I've also put it so that it will log in exactly when I log into this account. So anytime I'm in here or anybody else comes in to view any of this stuff, it logs the exact date and time that person is here. And I did put a timeout window, so that would be, what that is when you get out of here. So when you press the admin button to get out, it'll show you the timeout. Last time in, last time out. But I'm probably not going to use that. Yoshimitsu, it is so good to see you. I'm sorry for the interrupt. but can you recap what did you say? Okay, well, I haven't really said anything yet, Yoshimitsu. What I'm talking about is from where we were in the last video, we talked a lot about hiding these numbers from other people, and we also talked about being able to get in and out of there. And now what we're talking about is a couple of the problems that we're having with the solution, where right now, as you can see in this window up here, we have the 15, which is the number, and it's just anything that we put in there, but you don't have it in any of the other records. And so the problem is that when I press the admin button, it will take me to the security warning box, like all of the time. It just takes me right straight to the security warning box because of the file that I am on. So what we may end up doing is we may end up having to get rid of that whole 15 thing and figure out some better way to accommodate that scenario. Because right now, as we discussed before in the past, anytime, I'll just type in my admin number, anytime that you have a file like here, as you can tell, I started an invoice. So if I go to register 1, the invoice number is on register 1. If I go to clothing, the invoice number is on here. I only put it into one file, one record, but it's on all of these records. It's on every single, that number is going to be on every single record until I change it. And when you go into the administrator port and you go into the passcode port, the problem is we put the 15 here, but that's all that that's how it works, is we put the 15 in this location. So what we need to do is we need to go back to the admin, and I think we can still put this in there, so we can put 15 in there if we really wanted to. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that our file puts the 15, the number 15, or our script puts the number 15 in the right one every single time, so that it's always in the right one, and then we can always get out when we want to. So now we can we can click off of that, go back into that, and now it will take us to the admin. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is, Vanas, how are you? It's so good to see you. My name is Vanas. It is, yes, Vanas, I can see you. So it's like an error. Yes, it is an error that we're currently dealing with. So we need to get it so that when we push this passcode button, that it will put the number 15 into the right record. So if we click on the passcode button a couple of times, we'll double click it, and we go into add pass data, which is our script for it. It says if is empty, admin security link, go to layout security branch. Well, that's this little box down here that we've already talked about. Let me get rid of the image for the Luculent Media just so you guys can see what I'm talking about every time I'm talking about it. And then it says, okay, go to layout, user info, user database, show all records, and then set field user data pass 15. Well, when it says show all records, what we need to do now is we need to actually go to. So we need to, it should say, go to record request page, and it'll say the very first one. Then set field user database 15, and then the halt script. So now if we say okay and we get out of there and we exit the layout, now when we go into the passcode, the very first one, it will always end up on that very first one, and the 15 will always be there. And then these other ones, we need to get rid of the 15 so that it's not there. But now what we do need to do is we need to, so if we're here, because the way we have this set up, if we're here and we press the admin, because the first one actually has the number, so even if we're here and we press this this button, it will take us to the right place, right? Ta-da! But let's exit. And now in this button, when we do this admin button, that's our big thing now. Is now we've done the admin button, so we need to figure out, because what it's going to do is it's going to put that 15. Let's just go through it really quick and figure out what we're doing here. So if we double click this and we go to admin access, it will say, so it's like an error for the user. Yes, it is an error for the user. So if is empty, data found, go to box menu 2, halt script. We're just reading the script really quick because we're trying to figure out what it's doing. Now we can do some pretty creative stuff. Let's do this. Let's go into here and let's exit the layout. Exit the layout. And let's go into our tools and our script debugger. So if we go into our script debugger and we type in this 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we push the admin button, the script debugger will come up. And if we press X6 or F6, we will simply step into the script. And so if is empty, security box, that's this thing. And then it'll say, it'll go straight to the end if. So you guys can now see how the script is actually running. So it went from if to end if. It left everything else out. And now it's going to say, if this little box down here is greater than or equal to 2. Well, it's not. So it's going to go straight to the next end if. So everything in between there, it just gets rid of it. It just doesn't pay attention to it. Because the first one didn't match the critical point. So it didn't say, yes, this is true. So if it's true, continue. If it's false, then just skip. So now what it's going to do is it's going to set the variable. Then it's going to clear out my field. And the minute we press F6 again, it'll clear out the field. Then it's going to set this error field box down here to 0. It'll freeze the window. We're going to go to the layout, user data, and here we go. It'll enter the find mode. And then now you can see how it's actually functioning, how it's actually working. I'm going to go ahead and move this box over here so you guys can see it a little bit better. And now that we're in the enter, we're going to set a field. So we're going to set that field as the variable, which is our passcode. And then we're going to set the error capture on. We'll perform the find. There it is. And then if it is empty, if the user data passwords is empty, then it'll just go right back to the original layout. But it's not. So it's going to set the data. And this is something that we changed. So pay very close attention to the changes that we made at the end of this. So we're going to set the field, the user database notes box, which is this box right here. And I will show you how I did that. And what it's saying is, let's go to this particular place, right? No, wait, destination. Notes box. Okay, so current timestamp. That's what it's going to do. Is it's going to get the current timestamp. So set field user database notes, which is time in. Get, and then current timestamp. I wish I could zoom in on that so you guys can see it. And then we'll F6. So it now changed the time. Now we're going to set the variable of the layout. So it's $ layout. That's the variable that we set. And that's our destination window. And now we're going to set another variable. And these are some things that I added. So please pay very close attention, and I'll show you how to do all of this stuff. But set variable, name, value, user database, or user database first name. So what I'm doing is I'm setting this variable so that I can tell who it was. So it basically grabbed my name, my first name. And then the next one is it's going to set what's called a script. And I did $script. And then the value is this active box right here. And how I got this active box is, and I'll show you in just a second. Let's just run through the script pretty quick. Now we're going to go to the layout, which is this. We're going to go to the admin layout, go to F6. So here it went to the admin layout. And as you notice, there's nothing down here currently on the bottom, nothing down here. So it's going to set the field by name, script, and then name. So if you go into that, and I'll have to go into that script to show you actually how it works, but it's going to set the script, going to put my name in there, and then we're going to halt the script, and we're finished. So we actually made it there. So let's go, and we're going to edit this layout. We're going to manage our scripts. And the script that we're going to do is the add data pass, no, admin access. Okay, so the admin access one. And we're going to move it over here just a little bit, hopefully, so you guys can see what it is. So this is the part that I added to the script that you guys didn't get to see. And what it is if you go into here and we specify the field, it's just saying the notes field. We're going to use that. Remember the little notes field that we put in there? So if you guys have yours set exactly the same as I do, we're just basically saying the field that we're going to do is the notes field. And then the calculated result, we'll say OK. Then the calculated result is if you just type in get, G-E-T, or you can come all the way down here to the get on this side piece over here, and it'll say get active field contents, get active size selection, or it'll say get current date, or get current time, or get current time stamp. I wanted the time stamp, the exact time. So that's how I found it, or that's how you find it. Get, and then come to this side, and you'll see it says get current timestamp. And we'll say we're okay with that. Now, it does get a little more complicated. So we did say we're going to set the variable layout, and that the layout is that destination box. So let's Control S this just because we can. Let's get out of this really quick, and let's go to that passcode. Oops. Let's go to the passcode box so we can kind of know what we're talking about, right? So we will take manage, and we'll go back into manage our scripts. And so now you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So when I said go to layout, user data, the destination file, what it is right here, this destination. And you'll notice I did make some changes, but that's no big deal. Just make yours look like this and you'll be just fine. So we went to the destination, and from the destination we set a variable. Now we're going to set another variable, and that variable is going to be the user name, or this first name right here. Because as you can see in the script, it says first name. First name. Now you can use first name if you wanted to. You could say first name, then a space, and then plus the second name. So you could actually add both names in there if you wanted to. Or you could just make the first name the first and the last name. It doesn't matter. And just use a space in there. That's fine too. But I wanted to make it personal, so that's why I added the first name. And then we're going to set the variable script value, and we'll see how we do this. And it's the script, and we're the specified use database active, user database active. And how you do that is how you get this information in there is if you go to your inspector. Let me bring up my inspector. And we click on this box right here, which is our active box because it says active. It says right here, user database active. You can highlight this, Control-C, copy it, and then just paste it into that field. So copy this, close your inspector, go into your set variable, and specify the value. The value is user database, so it's a field. It's a field. Now we'll say OK. Then we're going to go to our layout, and the layout is going to be the destination, remember, because we set that as a variable. So the destination will be layout. I know this is very confusing, and I totally apologize for the confusing part. I should have done this while you guys were watching. But we're going to go to the layout, and then we're going to set a field by name. And that's a big ticket item. So we need to figure out how we're going to do that. So what we did was we specified, first thing we did was we said set field by name. Now we're going to specify the $ script. And if you guys remember what $ script was, $ script is, that's the active. Remember that active box I just showed you guys how to do? That was the variable was named $script. And then the calculated result is the name. Okay? So if you guys have any problems with that, or you guys didn't figure out how that works, just let me know and we'll go through it again, or I'll actually just recreate it for you. Either which way is fine with me, but that way you guys can know what is going on and make it all happen. So we will just save that. I don't know why it said we changed it, but we did not. And if we exit the layout, we see that we've now got our 15 to show up just up here, right? Just up here. This is the only one that shows. Now what I did here was I took the very first record, and the only thing I put in there was first name administrator, and then a time in, time out button, but no other information is available in there. No other information is available. And so at this point, you could hide all of these other boxes, and all of this stuff would disappear until you actually selected it. So you would have to select it and then put a number in that box. And then it would show up. So let me show you how to do that really quick, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So in this user data file, we have to be in the edit layout mode, and if we go to the inspector, go to our little inspector, and we click on the password selection, you can hide the object when. And if you just press the little pencil, it'll say when what. So we want it when is empty and the field to be pass. And now we will close it. And now if we go here, we notice all of the codes are empty. All of them are empty. And the only way to see this code is if I come up here and I type in 15, now it will show me what the code is. So if you want to use this to your benefit, if you want to keep the codes private or secret and you don't want other people to see them, then you can do that. You would actually have to select one and then type in your number, 15. But you then have to remember that you also have to delete that number when you want to hide it again. So that it will disappear. It's pretty simple. I like the hide object when, or hide it when, because it does really help when you're, doing stuff. You can also use that when, like, let me do something really quick. So we're going to go ahead and go back into the inspector. I'm just going to undo that because I really don't need it right now. So we'll just go ahead and delete it. And we'll call it good. And we will exit the layout and we'll come up to here, or we'll just stay right here. We'll go back to the admin, we'll exit. And this box, you can hide the information when you start putting something in it. So you can say, we can go into the edit layout mode. We can select this box. I don't know why I just moved it, but we can go into our inspector and we can say hide object when. And then you can just say not, and then is empty. So if we type in is empty, and then it's going to want to know what, and it's obviously the security box. And we'll say OK. So now if we exit the layout and we press something in there and we type in 1, 2, 3, 4, it disappears if we click off of it. So if you wanted to, and if we press admin, it still takes us there. Still takes us there. And now if we go exit, it comes back because now it's empty, see? So it is a way to hide, but the problem is that you can't like if I click on it and I type in 1 and then I click off of it, I can't get back into the box because it's hidden it and I can't see it, and I don't know how to put information into it. So if I type in 1, 2, 3, 5 and go to admin, that's going to take me to my category page, my initial category page. But we'll exit, we'll go back out to the beginning, and we'll remove that. But I just wanted you guys to see that that was actually something that you could use to your benefit, and it's kind of a cool thing too. So it is kind of a neat trick that you can use to make things happen. Now, I did do some pretty interesting things to our invoice box. So let's go to the invoice box really fast, and we will see what changes I made there while I was away, and you guys can catch up really quick. So what I did, and it wasn't anything dramatic. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out. But what I did do was I put a ring around the cash, credit, and the split pay, and I obviously added a couple more buttons, as you can tell. So how you put a ring around something is when you go into edit layout, you can go into basic shapes or shape tool. Pretty simple. Go into shape tool and you can draw a box any size that you want and put it wherever you want, and then it will be there forever. Now you can, if you want to see what's behind the box, like let's say we put the box over here. We covered that up. See, you can't see what's behind it, right? There's nothing behind it. But if you go into your inspector panel and you go into the appearance, you can actually have it as no fill color. And you can change the line. You can say it's a 1 line or a 2 line or a 3 line or whatever you want to. And you can actually just put a box around the stuff that you want. So if we now exit our deal, and you can also, if you need to put it in order, so you just shape it to what size that you want it to be. And now, if I wanted to, we exit the layout here, I can still, see how I just put information? I can put information right in there if I wanted to. 1, 2, 3, 4, instantaneous, and it'll execute. It just has a line around it. That's all it is. But if you're having an issue with your line, when you're putting a line around something, let's go into edit the layout because I am a big fan of centering the text. So if you want to this line, you're like, oh, I can't really see the line. All you gotta do is go up here and change it. You can make it 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, whatever you want to do, and make it into whatever you want it to. I did this specifically so that I could change the look of the buttons so that these are the regular buttons. When you're operating your register, you're either going to get cash, credit, or split pay. That's kind of the 3 main buttons. So, you can press cash, you can press credit, or you can press the split pay button. The exit button, the menu button, and the more button. So the menu button will just take you right back out to the regular menu. The exit button will take you out to the very, very beginning where you actually have to select which one you want to go into. And the more button is just an option that I wanted to have in case I wanted to have something else available. Like if I wanted to print off a receipt, I could use the more button to print off a copy of the receipt. And all it would basically do is take a snapshot of what I have, and it would send it to a printer, and the printer would print it off, and I'd grab it and hand it to the person and be good to go. Good to go. print off a receipt. So we could do that too. But so here's our little box, and we can just delete it. We can do whatever we want to with it. So the execute button, I want to move that down. It's a little bit too high for me. Not quite enough space. So those are the changes that I made. Nothing major, nothing big, but I wanted to show you guys really quick what changes I did make, so that when we do end up on these pages, you guys aren't going, oh my goodness, what did Tim do, right? And this is where I also started my very first thing. Or my very first record was I went ahead and started a record on this page. You know that because if we exit the layout, we'll show you there is one record. One. Doesn't have anything on it, and I did, I don't know if I did this while you guys were there, but I made sure that none of the buttons would work. You couldn't mess with any of them. There's no buttons, nothing you can mess with on this page, which is good, except for the administrator and the amount tendered, because that's kind of a big deal. So when you actually get into building your system and you build your buttons, like let's go to our menu button and our clothing button, and now we have nothing in here, but what do we have as our inventory? That's kind of a big thing. Let's go find out what we have for our inventory. So if we come into here and we go into our I think it may be, yeah, it is, it's under base inventory. So we have a dog bed, and it's currently its number is 1000, and it's a dog bed, and it has no sale price. Apparently we did not set up all of these buttons. So let's edit this layout really fast. So we have the sale price. I think that was probably homework that I had for you guys to do. So we have the sale price. This one will be retail price. And I don't know if I really want to type in the whole thing, but I'm going to. Notes. And notes we're going to put right dead in the center. Maybe. There we go. And I'm just holding the control button over there. So this one is going to be cost. As I was thinking of this, and I was thinking of it, believe you me, I was thinking of it. And then we can have min. And the minimums are, that's when your inventory gets to a specific point, like if you need to have 10 in stock at all times and you have 100 of them, when you get to 10, when this box gets to 10, it'll be like, oh, it'll send you a note. It'll put it in there in the box, or it'll send it in, it'll put it into one of these other categories that we haven't yet done yet. So we need to work on this. We totally need to work on this because we obviously have not worked on this. Okay, so we now have the category and all of these other interesting things, the retail price. I think these should all be center, they are center, that's center, and the minimum is also going to be centered. So all of these are centered. And I'm going to bring up my inspector because we haven't been here for a little while, so I kind of need to make sure that I did everything the way that I want to do it. So this box is a currency, this box is a currency, this box is a currency. Awesome. That's exactly what we want to see. Now, if you want to keep track of the value, I don't know if you guys do, but every now and then I like to have an idea of the total value of the product that I have. So what you can do is you can grab all of this stuff. Let's do retail price and sale price, and let's just move these bad boys over here by the quantity. My goodness, it's making it tough, isn't it? Making it tough. So now what we need to do is, this needs to go closer to the center of that. Buttons are sticking. There we go. And I think our sale price is right dead in the center. It is. And our quantity is in the center. So now what we can do is we can actually create, we can manage the database, and we can actually create a box for that, right? So we can say, let's just do this really quick, and then you guys we'll kind of work on that as we go farther. So this one is going to be called S_product. And this one is going to be a calculation. And we will create that calculation. Now the calculation is going to be the quantity times, and that's just the little asterisk thing, the little, you know, star thing, is going to be times, and you can either have the retail price, the wholesale price, the whatever you want to. I use retail price because I want to know what is the retail value of everything that I have in the store at this moment. Now, if you do wholesale price, you can do that as an inventory thing, so you know how much you actually have invested. So if you ever want to sell your store, you can do that. That is just fine as well. Either of those works beautifully. And then what that does for you is now, when you put that box into there, it will tell you how much of each product you have. So if you have 10 dog beds and those dog beds are worth $10 a piece, retail value, then you're going to have $100 in that section. But you have no way of knowing what's below it, right? So how much, let's say you have a category and you want to know how much is in that category. So for that, you're going to need a summary. So we'll have we'll just type this one in as, we have to highlight this a little bit. So we'll say sum underscore, I'm just so used to the stupid underscore thing. So we'll do sum underscore value. And this one is going to be a summary. And we're going to create that. And that summary is going to be a total of our S products. So now if we go and we get out of here, we say okay, and we grab our field picker, and we make sure that we don't have no labels. We don't want any darn labels. We can now go into our S product, and we can bring it up here. And the S product is going to be the value. So what we can do is we can type in the word value. Let's click off of that. We're going to grab our quantity really quick. Just a copy of it, so we're holding control. We're going to type in value. And we'll make it center. This just takes such a long time to actually get, the perfection or the perfect little spots. So now that's a value, and we do need to go into our inspector, and we need to make sure that it is a currency, because it's not a currency. And remember, we want to make sure that we do all this stuff. I know I'm like way over there on the side, so we want to make sure it's a currency, and we want to make sure it's a fixed number of decibels, and it is system settings. And we will say OK. So now when we do this, let's exit the layout really quick. The current value is 0. We have 10 of them, and our retail price is $28.50. If we just type in $28.50, it will automatically tabulate that. So we currently have in stock retail value $285 worth of product. But wait, Tim, you didn't use that summary, did you? No, I didn't use the summary. Why? Because we need to go in to our records, we need to go edit layout, format, layouts, set part setup is what we need to go into. And we want a sub summary by category leading. And we'll create it. And we want that to be a sub summary when sorted by. And this will be a category. Because remember, it's category. Category. Sub summary when sorted by category. If you double click on it, it'll say, do you want to print above or print below? Well, this one we want below. We want it to be on the bottom section. And we're done. But we do need this to be the same size as the body. So if we go into our inspector and we click on the body and we go into the position, it will tell us immediately that it is 34 points. So if we go into this little part, it's 14 points, and we can change it to 30 or 34, whatever you want. 34 just makes it even Steven. Click off. It's instantaneously there. And so now we'll close it. And now is when we grab our field picker and we grab our sum value. So no labels, sum value, and we're going to put it directly underneath our value. So when we close it and we grab our inspector and we go into the data section, we can make this a dollar value. So it's currency, fixed number of decimals. Hi, Craft Killer. How the heck are you? It's good to see you. And system settings. So now when we exit our layout, it will say 285. Now, we don't have a sort. We can sort our records by category, and we'll sort. And so now you can see we automatically have it. So every time that we put in like another deal, if we decided this one is a cat bed, oop, I gotta learn how to spell cat bed, and it's a pet supply. And see, now this is where it's starting to get difficult, right? It's starting because you're going, wait just a minute. You had to type in pet supplies exactly. You're right, I did. I had to type in pet supplies exactly. So let's edit the layout really quick. Let's go into category. Now, we probably shouldn't do this in this particular box, but it doesn't, it's not going to matter if you're using, we can use this one as the entry if you want to, or we can start using it as an entry, especially in the very beginning, and we can always undo it later on. But if you go into your category button and you hit your inspector, what you can do is you can have this as a drop-down list. And then it'll say, well, what values do you want it from? So the values are from a new, and the value list will be from, let's just call it category space products. And then we're going to use the values from a field. And that field that we're going to use is the actual inventory category. So use specify field, custom values. Where in the heck is it? From a list from another file. No, that's what we want. From a list from another file. Cancel. What is it that we're missing? Nope. It is from that. Unknown. So it will be from inventory. We're selecting it. Category. Okay. So we double clicked on category, include all values, includes only related values starting from unknown. we'll just include all values, and we'll say, okay. I knew I did it right. Okay. What? What is this? Why is it doing that? Stop it. New. Okay. Okay. Apparently I was clicking on the wrong one. So now if we edit the layout and we create a new record and we say this one is a hamster bed, and we type in, if we would have just typed in anything, a P, it would have created pet supplies. And then we can say we have 15 of those. We can say we have 24 of these. We can say the value of this is, let's see, cat beds are probably cheaper, so they'll be $18. And our hamster beds will be $5. And so now we see that all of our values come together. This one, for some odd reason, didn't come out as a monetary value, so I don't know why, but we'll figure that out really quick. Inspector. General, it is a currency. I could have swore that I set it as a currency, but maybe I didn't. I do need to make sure that it is in the center, though. I'm big on in the center, making sure all the stuff is in the center, 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 center. Okay, exit layout. So now it's all in the center. And if we wanted to, we could actually type in there, we could actually add some text in there. We do need to do, we have the execute button, the exit button, the menu button, and the invoice button. But we do need to have a sort button if you want. It should automatically sort these as we get in there. But if it doesn't sort them, we can always tell it to sort them. And we'll just sort by category, and we'll sort. And so there it is. Ta-da! I now know that I have $792 in product in my store at any given moment. If you want to know what the wholesale value is, you can do the retail value and the wholesale value. If you want to, no big deal. You can just add it next to the cost. You can just say, you can come over here and you can grab your notes in your note box and you can move those over. And you can add a field here that's your wholesale, total wholesale, or whatever the case might be. That will work just as well. I'm probably going to, as a matter of fact, I will do it. I'll do it right now. So we'll go into the database and we need to add something new, and the new will be what? S product. So let's just do S underscore product, and then we will do WS wholesale. And that will be a calculation. And we'll create it. And the calculation will be the quantity times the little asterisk button, the wholesale price. Now, sometimes the wholesale price changes. Sometimes it stays the same. Sometimes it fluctuates greatly, just so you know. So it's very hard to keep track of the current wholesale value of a product. But every time that you bring new product in, you can always adjust the wholesale value because it's there for you as the administrator to be able to do that. Okay, and so now it is the quantity times the wholesale price. But we also need an S value wholesale as well. So we'll do the sum underscore value, and we'll do WS for wholesale. And this one is going to be our summary. And we'll create that, and it will be the total of the wholesale products. So S product wholesale. And we will call it good. Say okay. So now if we go into our field picker, we will be able to grab both of those actually. So the S product, we can grab, bring it right up into this place right next to here, right next to our wholesale, and our S sum value. And we can highlight those two, go into our inspector. I know I'm trying to make sure that the windows are in such a position that you guys can see them. Go into our inspector. They are currency, fixed number values, so they are correct, both of them. Currency, currency. Okay, perfect. Now we will want to, when we get this done, when we get this ready, we're going to make sure that no one can adjust anything except for us. We'll be the only ones that can actually adjust anything in there. So at this point, we can go ahead and add some text if we want to, and we can we can just type in value or inventory value or whatever you want to do, and you can just click off of it, move it over. Probably make it bold or make it red. I just like to make it bold, and then I'll click on it. I'll come over here. What in the heck is up with that? I'd like to get it right in the center, and I'll just change the color to red. So now I have a value here. Make sure it's in the right spot. That's a black, and a value that is red. So now when I exit the layout, it shows me the total value of all of those systems. So if I went and I said my dog beds are $28, but I spent $20 on those dog beds, I can put that number in there. The cat beds I spent, $12.50 on, so 12.5. And the hamster beds, I actually got those at really good deal yesterday, so 1.5. I spent $1.50 for those. So now you can see in this area that the wholesale value is $522.50, and the retail value is $792. Now, if you wanted to know what percentage of a markup that was, you could also calculate that stuff in as well. I tend to not want to get this stuff too involved because it can be very problematic when you get too involved in this particular section. I do want to make sure that we go ahead and center these because I'm a big centerer of this stuff. Okay, so I think we basically got our system ready for us to start working on should we want to, but I did want to go quickly over just doing a page where you could add new product, and it would just like automatically add new product for you. It's not automatic. Don't take it as automatic, but it would be a page that you could set up that you could add product to relatively simply, but it doesn't allow, let me see, how can I better phrase that? So it allows you to add product in, but doesn't allow you to find a product. Does that make sense? I mean, you can find a product, but it's tougher. So I will show you how I do it, and then we'll just go from there. We'll just go from there. So I'm not totally confusing you guys. We'll at least get the opportunity to start that. So I do want to go into layouts. I want to create a new layout and report, and it's from inventory, and I'm going to call this one is going to be a modify inventory. And it'll be computer, and it will be form view. Oh, you know what we should have done? Let's cancel that. Let's cancel that because I have an idea. We're already doing some things, so let's manage. Don't need to see any of the unused ones. I do want to see the template, and I do want to see template menu. So I want to have the template menu. I want to duplicate it, and I'm now going to edit it, and I'm going to call this the inventory modifier. Inventory modifier. And we want this to be from the inventory. So only show records from the inventory. And we will call that good. And now it is lighted, and so we can have it in this particular thing, or we can move it to our product pages, which would be just fine if we were to the invoicing. Or if you want to, you can create a whole new one and you can just call it inventory. So if you click off and you go to the new, and you have to go to the little side thing in a folder, you can create an inventory folder. And now we have the inventory folder. We can go into the inventory modifier, grab the little double things, and move it all the way down into there. Now we can say, okay, we're done. We can exit the layout. We can go into our inventory in inventory modifier. And now we have nothing. As you can see, everything is going, what are you talking about? All these tables are unrelated. You are insane. We do need to edit the layout. And now we need to get rid of, well, that one we don't actually have to get rid of. Although I don't know why I just changed it. This we need to get rid of. This we need to get rid of. This, the date, this. We're just getting rid of everything here. Every single thing. Okay, we're getting rid of a lot of it. Let's just say that. Now if we double click on our inventory, we can get rid of that stuff. Inventory modifier. Okay, so now we have our inventory modifier, and the exit, execute menu, and invoice buttons, we can leave them as we want to. But remember, every time you make a new record of something like this, you have to create ways for pages, because if you remember on our template, if we didn't do very much on our template. So we do have, these pages are active. This execute button is active, but it will do you no good, right? Because there's no way for it to go anywhere. And if you press this button, it'll be like something is wrong. So you do need to get rid of that. But if you press the menu button, you'll go right to the menu. You'll go right to the menu. If you press exit, you'll go right to the exit. If you press invoice, you'll go right to the invoice. So the only one that you need to get rid of would be the execute button, or just tell it to do nothing. If we double click on it, we can just tell it to do nothing. And now it will do nothing, and it won't mess with anything that you're doing. But you will need that execute button to do something in the near future. So do not just get rid of it. Just leave it where it is for now, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. So what we are going to do is we're going to grab our field picker, and we're going to start putting together some of these things. So we do need the product ID. That's going to go right up here on the top. And the product name, we're going to bring down here. We're just going to line these things up. And we can deal with the quantity. We'll just put the quantity over here. We can put wholesale price, a retail price. All of this stuff we can add to this as we want. So the wholesale price, and what's funny is I should probably just be putting, we'll put retail price. This one I'm just going to delete it for now because I just want to grab this button, And we're just going to bring all these price thingies out because we can. Labels sometimes make it difficult, sometimes make it a lot easier to deal with, especially if you're just building a page. You can have a note box in there if you want to. That would be just fine as well if you need to add a specific note to a product, but I would highly suggest that you don't use the note box. So we do have the quantity, the product name, the quantity, the category. We do need a category. We're going to add that. Minimum quantity box. We definitely need that. You don't need the product, any of the S product sum value. You need none of those because those are all calculations that you're going to use elsewhere. So you have the product ID, the product name, and the product category. Those are big options to be putting into the system. Wholesale price, retail price. Okay, we got all of that stuff. Product ID, product name. There we go. So now what our job is to make this look good. How do we make this look good? So we're going to move some of these things over just a little bit. That one is lined up. We'll move this right here. Category. We do need product, so we'll just move this one up from there and we'll just call it product. Get it all lined up nice and neat. The product ID, we don't need to identify that it is a product ID. Now this is pretty simple. You can add, if you want to, you can add a window, but you would actually have to do that through your manager database. But you can add a window and you can actually put like a picture of your product should you want a picture of your product in there. In case you have like a bunch of products that look the same but they're not the same and you really want to make sure that whoever's doing it knows what they're doing, fine, you can do that, whatever. That's amazingly wonderful. So then we have the minimum quantity and the quantity. So these are all numbers that we will deal with quickly. So the quantity button, the quantity is how many do you currently have in stock? And the minimum quantity will be how many, what's the absolute minimum before the number changes, right? Or before we need to reorder them. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself because I have so many other things that I'm trying to garner all at one time. These wholesale prices and retail prices and all that other neat stuff, I like to keep them as close to the vest as I possibly can. So we're just going to set them down here. And center, 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 because I'm a big centerer. And they should be, if we go into all of these should be, if you go into your inspector, they should be currency. They should already be currency because you've set them as currency. Quantity is in the center, minimum quantity is in the center. So now if you go into, the exit the layout, what you're going to see is, I don't know why that just happened. It's showing it as a number. So if you just go through and you scroll with your mouse, with the little button on your mouse, the little wheel, scroll wheel, it'll scroll through all of the records. And it shows you all of the records. But the problem is you have to be able to put a new record in. You have to be able to know what you're doing and why you're doing it and how it's working. So what we will do is, I do need to edit layout. I do need to go, this product ID, that's insane that it turned out to be a monetary value. Because it's not. It is a general. General, yes. Okay, edit layout. So now you can see the numbers, 1000, 1001, 1002, And that's as far as you got. I do suggest that if you own a small business, that you, on the back of the price tag or the back of the price thingy, that you keep track of all of the numbers of your product, or you print out a list of the numbers of all your product, so that when you are doing inventories, you can quick select. You can quickly get into here. Because we can put in a box. We can put in a box and a search window that will search specifically for the product that you need, so that you can make instantaneous changes to the quantities. Or you can, because let's say, like I ordered 10 new beds and I need to add 10 new beds. I need to add beds right now. Why is this quantity? I'm wondering, why is my quantity the wrong thing? It says quantity and it's not a currency. It's general. I don't know. But hey, we'll go from there. Okay, so exit the layout. So if I wanted to make a change to this number, I either have to go up here and click on it, but if I can make a change to it, so can anybody else, unless I've changed it and I've made different portals for different people. But this now lets me change it. So instead of saying I have 10 dog beds, remember that, 10 dog beds, I want it to be 15 dog beds, it'll automatically change it for me. So now if I go to my inventory, which I have not set this up yet, but now if I go to the inventory, templates, which is base inventory, remember the quantity that I told you about? So dog beds went to 15 just like that because I changed it on a different page. So it changes it throughout the record, no matter what you do. So therefore, you have to be careful. You have to be very careful when you're making changes to your records. And that's why I'm trying to teach you how to make it so that it's safe for you. And it's safe for your employees to use. And you have the control and not them have the control. And that you don't have to do everything. Because that's a big deal. I don't want you as the store owner. I don't want you as the administrator or the manager of a facility to have to do everything. But you have to have oversight, and you have to be able to be aware of what's happening when it's happening. And that's where this comes into play. Because if we go from here, I don't know what that execute button does, but let's find out. Execute button, what does it do? Admin access. Well, that's kind of dumb. Let's just tell it to do nothing. We can change that into a sort button later on, right? A sort button. But what we can do is, if we exit this, we didn't even make the exit button work. Let's make the exit button work. Perform script. And it should be exit button. And we'll call it OK. And the menu button, see how easy this is? Just go into perform script, and this is the menu 1 button. Is that what we want? Do we want to go to menu 1 from this page? Sure. If you want to go to menu 1, menu 2, menu 3, menu 4, whatever you want to do, we've already got it set up. You want to go to the invoice? Look at this, perform script, invoice 1. There you go. Got it. Ta-da! Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. It's so easy, right? And now if we exit the layout, our buttons are alive except for the execute button. So we'll go to the exit. Operation could not be per what? What? Let's go back to that page really fast and find out what that deal is. Base inventory. So if we go into the edit layout and we type that, we go into the exit button, set field menu user name. Aha. So in the exit button, we set a menu field. And it shouldn't be that, should it? Set field, menu, username, blank. Go to layout, entry page, menu. Well, we are going to fix this. We're going to fix it because obviously what we wanted to do was we wanted it to set a field. We wanted it to clear a field. So we wanted it to menu username. So let's just say okay. Let's just get rid of error. Exit button, menu username. So this is product code. Well, where is it that we have the menu username? Manage the database. Menu username is a text. Oh, I put that username should have been here. All right, well, we will fix that on the very next episode. I guarantee it. We'll go through that really quick and have that fixed. Why did I put, I'm not really sure why I put set the field menu username to quotation marks or clear it, because I don't even have, we're on menu, and on register one, here is where we have the username. Why would I want to clear the username? So the cool thing is we can change, all we got to do is manage our scripts, and we can go into that invoice one or the exit button, and we can get rid of that. It doesn't have to be that. We don't have to have it there if we don't want to, right? Or if we decide that I want to figure out why I put it in there, because right now, today's Sunday, it's probably the first day that I've actually had where my brain cell is functioning on all 8 cylinders, as they say. And I'm not sure why I put it in there, but there was obviously a reason for me to put it in there. So I will get rid of it. And then if I find a need for it, I will figure out why I needed it in there and go from there. But for now, well, all we got to do is just grab it and delete it. Press delete, Control S, we'll save it. Now, if we go to the invoice one, it just says go to, the exit button, go to, and the menu button. It says, the menu button says set variable, locker, value, register, invoice number, go to layout, category, page menu, set field, invoice lock, locker, halt script. Now that's a pretty smart thing to do. That's a pretty smart thing to do. So, but that's gonna mess with us in our inventory button when we go to menu one, isn't it? Right? It's gonna mess with us because we're gonna be in a different place. And it's gonna be like, what? What do you want to do? So on that particular note, what we need to do is we need to go to our layout, that base inventory layout, and this menu button, we need to make it not do the menu button. Ooh. Yeah, not do the menu button. Let me give you a quick subscriber, guys, and I'll be right back. Just a second. Okay, we're back. Need a drink of coffee. All of a sudden I just felt a little lightheaded for some weird reason, don't know why. So in this particular case, we don't need this menu button to do anything. So let's just go in and tell it to not do anything for right now. And let's go back and go into our inventory that we wanted to get into. So our inventory modifier. as you can see, now when we go to our inventory modifier, it comes up with all these different things. And if you go into here, or we say, let's say we want to add a new record, it'll automatically put in a new number. And the product will be, let's just say, Colombian coffee and suggested spellings, Colombian. Okay, Colombia coffee. Let's call it Colombia coffee. And the category is, if we start typing in pet supplies, watch what happens. If I type in P, it didn't do it, right? Because it's not a drop-down list. This one is not a drop-down list. So we're going to call this drinks. And now if we edit the layout and we come over to our category and we go into our deal, it says edit box, drop-down list. We'll have to select, so you guys will now know how to do this, and we'll just go into category products and we'll call it OK. So now when we edit the layout, if we type in anything, it'll go to drinks or pet supplies or whatever you want it to do. So you can just select it and it'll go right to it. Ta-da, just like that. And you can add those two there too as well. So if I said, and I'm going to say I have 12 of these, and the wholesale price is $1, retail price is $2, and we're just going to leave sale price alone for now. But new record, we're going to have soda pop, and its category is drinks. But let's do something different. Instead of doing soda pop, let's have it hot tamales, and this category is going to be candies. So we were able to type that in there relatively easily, and then we can say we have 52 of those, and the wholesale price was 50 cents, so it has to be 0.5. Retail price is 1.25, just because we're doing it, whatever. And at this point you can add in your minimum quantities if you want to, so that's not a big deal. So now when you go through and you go through your records, you can see all of your records just by scrolling with your mouse wheel. Scrolling with the mouse wheel. But remember, you're not going to have that when you're on the iPad, so you're going to have to be able to go through and find out what records. This works really well for new record. If you want to, we can double click on this and we can tell it that what we want it to do is this will be a new record. We can just say new. I want to click on it because it's obviously the wrong thing. Bookman old style, and I think we're 36. Nope, 24. We are 24. So we're in 24. So that would give us a new record if we tell it that that's what we want it to do. So double click on it. Right now it says do nothing. We want it to do a single step, and the single step is we want it to it'll be new record request. So if we just type in new, it'll say new record request. We can just type that and we're good to go. And so now every time you hit that button, it will give you a new record request. So right now we're 1002, we push new, it gives us a 1005, and we can tab through there and type in I don't know, bubblegum. And if we tab, it'll say you want candies, whatever you want, and we have 42 of those. The wholesale price was $1, and the retail price is $1.35. Simply, easy, painless. So every time that you now hit this, it'll create a brand new record for you, a brand new record. So that's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. But we will get it. the next time we're going to get much deeper into it, because what we're going to do is we want this window to be something that your manager or one of your employees can walk around in your store with on a tablet, and they can be like, you know what, I'm checking inventory and this product says that, you know, that there's this many in there. Now you will need a reference number. So what you're going to do with this reference number thing is you're going to have to make sure that like I have tags in my business, in my store. I have these little tags that I put up on my shelf. They're shelf tags. And the shelf tag that you click into place, you know, I mean, I'll just show you whatever. This particular one is a stand one, but I highly suggest that you make sure that your product number is somehow written or fixed to the shelf tag. That way, when you're at the shelf, you're in front of the product, you can look at you know, and it's, if you've ever seen those shelf tags, they have like 50 bazillion numbers on them, so you can always hide it in there somewhere and just make sure that the number is on there. And then people, your inventory person or your clerk or whatever will know where to find it, and they'll be like, okay, this is product number 1000, so that they can actually search for product number 1000. And how we do that is we're going to add a lot more to this system or to this particular thing. And I promise this time I won't do it when you guys aren't watching. I will do it when you guys are watching. So the very next time we get into this, which will be probably Tuesday. I think Tuesday we'll do the next video on this. I will lay this thing completely out for you. We're going to add all kinds of stuff to it, make it really amazing. We're going to make some of the numbers bigger and some of the things bigger and make them much prettier. But this will definitely be a modifier that you're going to use on a tablet. That's what it's designed for. That's what we're trying to design it for, is so that you can use it on a tablet. You won't be able to adjust the price at all. You won't be able to adjust hardly anything. What you will have is you'll know how many of them is supposed to be in stock at a split second, and you'll be able to make changes to that inventory if you have a passcode or if you have code. And we want to be able to do that because we don't want just anybody getting in there and making changes to your inventory. We want very specific people that will know what they're doing to be able to make changes to that inventory. And then we'll also have a log page that will be involved, so that every time they make a change to an inventory, it will keep a log of it. It'll keep track of it, so that you'll know that this person has either verified the amount of inventory, they've changed the inventory, or they've somehow subtracted from the inventory, or whatever the case might be. So whatever changes they make, we'll keep track of, and we'll log them, and we'll sort them by day, so that you'll know on what day, what happened, when it happened, and why it happened. So from there, I will let you guys know. It should be Tuesday, but from there, I will let you guys go today. So I do appreciate you guys for watching me. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much, Yoshimitsu, for watching me. Keep those questions coming. Vinaz, also, thank you for chiming in. I do appreciate you guys being here. Craft Killer, I really missed you a lot. I hope that at some point in time we get the opportunity to play some games or do something together, because that would be wonderful for me. But in this sense, for this particular thing, this is going to be a really amazing. I hope you guys are building this with me. I really do. I hope you guys are building this with me at the same time that I'm building it, because this is going to be, honestly, this is my dream register. This is the one that I have wanted to build forever. You guys have seen my register. I've shown it to you. It's pretty blank. It's pretty, there's some splendidity in there. It's, there's some flash, a little bit of kind of cool here and there. But this is the one that I've always wanted to build. That, like we've all wanted to build something very special. This is mine. This is the one that I've always wanted to build. And I'm building it today with you guys, and I think you guys will just absolutely love it, because it's gonna revolutionize your business. You will be able to create and do so much from your tablet, and you'll be able to control everything that happens in your store, and you'll be able to, at a glance, if you have 10 employees and they're all running around doing stuff on your system, you'll at a glance know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how it's happening, and all that other stuff. And if you need to, you can actually set in files, and you can say, hey, look, this is what I want you to do, when I want you to do it, and how I want it done. I'm not going to get that deep into it, but I am going to show you how to have a really flawless, amazing, amazing, amazing register. And if you've missed absolutely anything, or you don't understand anything, please leave a comment below, and I will address it. And what I will do for all of your special questions, anybody that has a special question, what I want to do is I want to have a special, like not necessarily with this, but I'll have like a special thing where I show you how to do that kind of on the side. It won't be part of the series, but it'll be a part of the series, if that makes sense. It's crazy. But until next time, thanks, guys. Thank you guys so very much for watching me. You guys are amazing. And I will see you guys the next time. Remember, Tuesday we will have another one, and then probably Thursday or Friday we will have another one on top of that. So we're going to move with this as quickly as we possibly can and get it as much and as far done as we can. So until the next time, we'll see you guys. And make sure, as I always say, be good to each other, and we'll see you in the next stream.